Welcome to the Creative Me podcast. Coming to you from Guernsey in the Channel Islands. This is episode 49, The Buyer's Journey with Meera Kothand. Hello and welcome to episode 49 of the Creative Me podcast. Today I'm bringing you a special guest. I have Meera Kothand with me and, I was going to introduce her, but actually I'm going to let her introduce herself because she knows about her way more than I do. So hello Meera, welcome to the show.
Hi, Martine. Thank you so much for having me.
It's lovely to have you here. I should point out that Meera is in Singapore, and as I'm in Guernsey, there is a considerable time difference between us. So it's quite late at night where you are, isn't it?
That's right. It's actually 10 p.m.
Oh, goodness me. So Meera, who are you and how do you help people?
Wow, what do I say? Well, I actually started off being a freelance writer. So by profession, I'm a digital marketer, but I decided to take a break after I had my little one. And then I got my toes into freelance writing. And I wasn't really in the marketing niche, which is what I'm in right now. But my heart is always wanting to write and explore, different marketing things and strategies and so on. So I wanted to write for myself rather than, for a client. And that was how I started blogging, and my business picked up. So I've actually been doing this for maybe a year and a half now. And I help simplify marketing and blogging strategy for bloggers and solopreneurs, small business owners as well. And a core component of what I do is actually email marketing. So that's actually kind of where my strength lies in.
Brilliant.
Yes.
I like the idea of simplifying all of the marketing vocabulary and all that stuff out there, because I think as a small business owner, or as you put it, a solopreneur, you can be completely overwhelmed by all the content out there on Pinterest and places like that, and the vocabulary can get a bit confusing. So I like that you said that you simplify all of that for people who probably need the help with it being simplified. That's a great thing to do. And in that vein, what we thought we might talk about today is the buyer's journey, because that in itself sounds a bit confusing, the buyer's journey. And what does that mean exactly? And that's what we're going to look at today. So my first question to you really, Meera, is what is the buyer's journey and why do I need to know about it as a small business owner or a blogger?
Yeah, actually, I came across this, this whole term, the buyer's journey, when I was doing my own reading. And I actually wanted to find out whether there was any pattern into how and when my subscribers were actually buying my courses and my ebooks. So that was how, I started to explore more and more about the buyer's journey. Was there a pattern? Was there like a set number of days or a certain period of time? And that's when I kind of realized that there really wasn't much of a pattern into when and, how they buy. I'll get into this a little more as we speak, but just to give a quick, introduction to what a buyer's journey is, it's kind of like a thought process that a buyer goes through before they purchase your product or a service, a coaching package, whatever that could be. So, in marketing terms, they kind of say that there are 3 different stages. So a buyer would go from awareness to consideration to decision before they actually buy your product or service. So the awareness stage is when actually, they have absolutely no clue. They don't know what problem your product or service solves. And, they may not even know that they have a problem to solve in the first place. So if you take my example, I produce courses and ebooks for people who don't really know how to grow or nurture their email list. So for someone like that, their awareness stage could be, some of them could be, do I need an email list? Or for some others, the awareness stage could be something like, okay, I thought I just need to grow my list. What is this whole concept of nurturing your email list? So they may be clueless about that. So after the awareness stage, the one in between, this is the consideration stage. So this is where, all right, they've they're aware that they have a problem that needs to be solved, and they start to kind of look for solutions to solve that problem. And they kind of get into grips of, these are certain symptoms that I have, and I need to deal with it so that I can solve that problem. And finally, the decision stage is when, when there's an alignment with their problem and the solution or product that you have, and then they say, all right, I'm going to open my wallets and I'm going to purchase this ebook, or I'm going to purchase this course. And so this is kind of like in a gist what the buyer's journey is. So how a buyer moves from one stage to the other, from awareness right up to decision, is via your content. So your content is the one that is going to move and kind of pull the buyer along. I mean, the subscriber, the buyer, whatever term that you want to use. And, you do this via your content on your blog posts or your videos. A big part of it is email marketing as well. So this is how you move people along. And yeah, like I was saying, when I was trying to find like a pattern, how people buy, when people buy, it's not a linear process. Because I think a lot of times when we read things as marketers, we kind of say that yeah, you go from A to B or to C. But the thing is, how people buy, it's not a straight line. It's really like a big scribble. If you just imagine like a piece of paper. Yeah. So I think this is really important, especially for people who are selling online. Any kind of online business that you have as a solopreneur, a small business owner. This is important because when we have a launch or when we are putting a new product out there, we could say, all right, I'm going to have 6 weeks. I'm going to prime my audience, and I'm going to take them from this stage to the end, and they're going to be ready to open their wallets at the end. Oftentimes, it doesn't quite work that way because there are two ways. There are two things that could happen. In the very first place, some of them, they might not even be aware that they need a problem, that they have a problem that needs to be solved. So you need to go way back. So for me, for some people, I might have to educate them on why they need an email list in the first place. These are like the really people who are right at the start of the journey. And for yeah, go ahead, Martin. You're going to say
Now,
something?
I was just going to say that makes complete sense, and I love how you're breaking it down into those very clear 3 sections. And I also like that you said that nobody follows one specific pattern apart from those 3 sections, really. Our life as business owners would be so much easier if there was a specific timing for everything. We could do things so
Yeah,
much
exactly.
easier, couldn't we? But no, I was just going to say I really like how you're breaking this down. It's very clear.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, what I found is that one person could go from awareness to decision all in one day. So I have had people who subscribe to my list today, and then by tomorrow they've gotten, like, they've purchased 2 of my ebooks. And there are others who purchase a year later, after a lot of nurturing, a lot of content and stuff like that. So there isn't really much of like a linear pattern in that sense. And the thing is, you should the you kind of have to come in and produce content for all those different stages, because the content is kind of going to be different. For awareness stage, they need a certain a different set of elements. Your blog posts need to kind of bring attention to the problem in a sense. And for people at the consideration stage, the content that you're going to write is going to be more how to, and you also need to kind of inject a lot of interest into why they even need to solve a particular problem. So your content is going to change according to people that for the different stages. And so this is one thing that you need to keep in mind. And actually, it's just a word of encouragement. Just because maybe a launch doesn't do well, or you don't sell as many items or products or whatever that is, that isn't like a doomed revenue stream. It doesn't mean that you just have to shut everything down. It probably means that your subscribers probably need more time. Some of them may be further at the very beginning, some of them may be in the middle, but there are a lot of external triggers that are also affecting their purchase decision. It's not just you, it's not just your content. They may have like a lot of things to do with motivation, a lot of things to do with finance. So there are a lot of triggers that are from their end as well. So it's not solely dependent on you, if that makes sense, the way it's coming out.
Yeah, that does make sense. And also, I like how you are explaining that perhaps if a launch hasn't gone particularly well, it might be that you aren't clear enough on what your buyer's journey actually is. As you're saying, they might not be kind of far enough along for that sale to actually happen. So clearly, in order to have a successful business, a clear understanding of the type of journey your buyer takes to get to you is really important, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. So I was going to say, how does the buyer's journey help me sell more products and services? But I really think you've made that quite clear.
Yeah.
And also, to me, it really links in with knowing who your customer is precisely as well. And I've done a blog post a while back on working out your ideal customer avatar, so you know who they are. And if you know who they are, you can then more clearly work out their journey. I think the two things go hand in hand, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. And at the very beginning of the episode, Meera, we mentioned that you're actually an email marketing expert. So could you go into a bit more detail about how email fits into the buyer's journey?
Yeah, the thing is, I think for a lot of small business owners and solopreneurs, we kind of get the hang around why we need an email list, because I think over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of awareness around why you need an email list. But I think the shift to what do you do with that list, that there has to be like a shift towards understanding that other aspect. So I think that is where a lot of people are stuck. They know that they need to grow their list, but what do you do with those people? That is where that's the missing link in a sense, and that is so crucial to kind of having a complete understanding of how your buyers work, how your subscribers work, and where they are. Because if you're just going to send out email content when you're going to have a product launch and so on, you kind of miss out on a lot of nuances and miss out on the interaction that is going to help you understand better where your subscribers are at. What exactly are the pain points that you could possibly be targeting on your sales pages, or in the way you position your products. So I think that is where email marketing really comes in. And for me, I'm like a huge advocate of having like a welcome email series. So, you can have all this content on your blog, but you obviously need to convert that traffic into your, to your email list. But rather than just stopping at a welcome email, I love to have like a welcome email series. So this is something that, I write a lot about on my blog and my email as well. So your welcome email series kind of like rolls out the red carpet for your subscribers. So you build trust and you nurture them within that short span of, maybe 8 to 10 emails that you have in a welcome email series. So what I like to do is, in this welcome email series, when someone is going through that, I don't send them any kind of other kind of messaging. So I don't send them surveys. I make sure to exclude these people from any of my sales emails or launches, because I want them to kind of be focused on the message of the welcome email series. So, your welcome email series, depending on the goal of that particular sequence, it could be to introduce them to your brand, to your values, the kind of business that you run. These are certain things that you can include in your welcome email series. And so let's say at the end of the welcome email series, you could, depending on the goal, you could pitch a clarity call, or a service package, or an ebook, whatever that goal is. Even if they're not ready for that purchase, you have established lots of goodwill with the group of people, with your subscribers. So you're kind of fresh in their mind. And if you're going to continuously send them content, weekly, or twice a month or something like that, when they are ready to make that purchase, you're going to be first in line. So that is how I see email marketing being a really, really huge component of this entire thing.
I can definitely see how that fits in, particularly when your buyer is right at the start of the journey, because through your emails, you can educate them along the lines of, how your product, or if they don't know they've got a problem yet, what the problem is, and then how your product or service can help them. So email in some respects is going to be far more direct than any other form of content, such as a blog post or a video or something like that, because with email you're landing directly in their inbox, which is why email marketing is so effective. So yeah, I can see how that really fits into the buyer's journey. The other thing that you made me think about when you were explaining how you use email is that it's really important to have an email provider that allows you to tag and segment your subscribers. Now, I don't know what you use, but I use ConvertKit, and they are fantastic.
Yeah, I
Yes,
do. Same
absolutely
thing.
amazing. So I'm thinking that by using tags or segments or things like that, you can actually split up your subscribers in line with where they are in the journey to a certain extent. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what I do with ConvertKit is once someone enters a welcome email series, I kind of add an in sequence tag. So, I know that whenever I'm going to send any sales emails or when I'm going through launches, I make sure to exclude people who are, having that tag. And once they complete that sequence, I remove that tag. So this is one way. Another way that like you mentioned, segmenting that I've done with ConvertKit is at the end of the welcome email series, I kind of ask them to tell me where they are in the journey. So I've got like 4 or 5 different options, and once they click on that, it's going to tag them. So I will know where exactly my audience is shifting, or whether they've shifted, or what it is. So, as I get more and more people into the welcome email series, I get subscribers being tagged as well. So at a glance, I can kind of tell where my audience is, where the majority of my audience are. So yeah, this is, you need to have a provider that allows you to do all this. And like you mentioned, ConvertKit is excellent at this.
I have to say, I've been with ConvertKit for well over a year now, and it really has revolutionized my approach to email marketing. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination using it to its full extent. I love some of those top tips that you've given about, tagging and then removing a tag once someone's come out of a sequence, and then giving people the option to kind of tell you where they are in the journey or what areas of your business they might be potentially interested in. It's all very easy to set up with ConvertKit through their automation processes and their link triggers and things like that. So yeah, fantastic tips there, Meera. I really appreciate that. Brilliant. So we know what the buyer's journey is. We can see how closely it relates to knowing your ideal customer avatar. We know that knowing the buyer's journey and where your customer is in that process can really help you selling more products and services. And we know where email fits into everything. Meera, that's a whole lot of knowledge in a very short space of time. What haven't we talked about with regard to the buyer's journey? What have I forgotten to ask you?
Oh, I think we covered everything.
That's amazing. Thank you. I really only have one more question that I'd like to ask, if that's okay with you. And Meera, that is,
Sure.
where can people find you online?
Yeah, I mean, you guys can find me at meerakothand.com. I know my name is a mouthful, so I know Martin's gonna leave it in the show notes. So
Absolutely.
yeah, you can find me there. And for those of you who are interested in email marketing, I have a free email course that, if you go through, it'll kind of give you like a brief overview of everything, and the pieces that you need to pick up, to tighten your own email marketing strategy.
That's amazing, Meera. I will make sure that your website is linked to on the show notes, and the show notes will be available at martinellis.com/49. So thank you so much for joining me on the show, Meera. It's been a real pleasure to have you.
Thank you. It was such a wonderful conversation.